You know that it's fun to go out, except I never leave my house. I'm either at work or home, and it seems kind of pathetic just drinking alone. So if you got nothing going on, have some drinks with Ron.
Hello and welcome to Drinks with Ron. I'm Ron. This is my drink, a whiskey and cola of my, I guess it's not on the bar, it's over on my desk. It's my drinking mix. This is all bourbon, so whiskey, scotch, and other such things are over there. Only bourbon on the bourbon bar. Apparently Tabasco, because I was too lazy to put it away. Got the fedora on, but it's not my drinking fedora. This is actually my working fedora. I do have different fedoras for different occasions. Seems a little weird, granted, but I got no hair up there, and getting sunburn on the head sucks ass. There's nothing fun about it. So we try to avoid that as much as we can, and if I'm outside doing yard, garden, and housework, it's the working fedora. Apparently I'm going to put to work my drinking arm, so I guess it's okay. But I did an episode a couple nights ago and then accidentally deleted it like some kind of asshole. But I found my soldering iron, and apparently I thought it would be a really good idea to drink some bourbon and do an episode while I was soldering some shit. I don't know what the fuck I was trying to prove or what I thought the great point or the big payoff of that would be. But anyway, it's gone now because I deleted it like some sort of asshole. So, but I did, as I was soldering various things, it actually took me back to a couple of stories which I thought, well, maybe I better actually retell those. Got me thinking of the days of the CB. See, you kids don't understand that back in the day, everybody didn't walk around with their cell phone attached to them like fucking Star Trek, where you just hit the tricorder and everybody had their own personal communication device. That wasn't the case. If you wanted to call somebody, you needed to go to your house and be tethered to the fucking wall. You know, a phone that had a cord that ran to a phone box that ran to a cord that ran to a wall, which actually ran to a cord up to a pole and ran to a cord all the way across to whoever the fuck you were calling, and you were actually somehow physically connected to that person via wire. It's about 2 or 3 steps up from the tin can with the string. The only difference was you didn't have to pull the phone cord tight when you did it. But yeah, now everybody's got cell phones and, you know, fucking whoop-de-doo, instant messenger. You can get a hold of anybody just like that. Not their house with their fucking parents where, oh shit, it's 9 o'clock, I better not call. I'm going to catch grief from somebody's old man, so we're going to not get a hold of them. I'll go to their house and launch fucking pebbles at their window and hope that I don't piss anybody off there. So yeah, I mean, now you can get a hold of a person instantly, but back then, shit, we didn't have that. So my senior year, back at good old Lancaster High School, the big fad of the fall was the CB radio. I don't know who the fuck it was that started it, but, you know, they're around. Truckers have them, farmers had them. But I don't know who the first lone asshole of high school kids that got one for fun was. But the dominoes fell pretty quickly, and pretty soon the majority of the guys in my grade had CBs installed in their car, which is kind of where I came in. I was known as a guy who could do all this wiring sort of shit, install car stereos, because I was always dicking with my car stereo because of a piece of shit car, and I spent a lot of time fucking with it until I figured out kind of how this shit worked. So people figured car stereo, CB radio, well, let's get Ron over here. So, after seeing one person's install job, I figure I'll just fucking piggyback off how they did it and kind of mimic their stuff, you know, wire the shit directly to the fuse box, ground it to the frame, away we go. Except for, like I say, I had never done one and really had no idea what I was doing. So there was a little bit of pressure that, like I said, I spent all this time dicking around with car stereos in my car. Well, I didn't care. It was my car. I'll blow out a handful of fuses and make some sparks come out the dash and possibly a little bit of low-grade smoke. But my car, I don't give a fuck. Little bit of pressure when you're wiring some shit directly into the fuse box of somebody else's vehicle, because that shit starts smoking and shooting sparks, and I'm going to be the hell out of Dodge because I'm claiming no liability on that shit. So a little bit of pressure trying to install this stuff, hoping like hell I don't fry out somebody's alternator or blow up their car in general. But I installed a handful of them with no ill effects, I'll throw in, until I finally figured the time has come. Now I have to get one. So I got one, and that was all the cool guys. There's nothing like pulling into the parking lot of the high school and seeing all these fucking antennas, and then the dudes with the big whip antennas. I mean, 50 cars in the parking lot, 20 or 30 of them got fucking CB antennas on there. So it was just, I said, we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have all that shit. Friday night, you want to go to a party, you either came in the subway where I was working, and you got the information from me, and I could tell you how to get to the party, which was great. That was the usual Friday, Saturday night routine. Dudes pop in the door, hey, Ron, where's the party? Oh, it's out of this place. You know how to get there, blah, 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 blah. Because usually towards the beginning of my shift, somebody would pop in and say, hey, man, party's here tonight. Well, I was stationary, so everybody would just come and get the info from me. But then after that, you could just jump in your car, get on there. We had our own channel that I think we used 30. I can't remember. No, I can't remember what the first one we used was. But we had our own channel that we all hung out on. And then you could just go fucking, hey, where's party? You guys, all right, tell me how to get there. And you could literally get in your car and turn by turn. All right, I got to that cornfield. Now what do? I'm at a fence. What's going on? And they could walk you through. You could get right down there. It was a thing of beauty. In fact, when I lost my license, was that my senior year? Good Lord. Well, I don't know. At one point, I lost my license. And they said once guys were out of the house, you couldn't reach them. I said, before cell phones, boys and girls, if they weren't in the house with a phone box tethered to the wall, you weren't fucking getting a hold of them. And I remember sitting out in my car, which I wasn't allowed to drive, trying to get somebody on the CB to come and pick my ass up and take me somewhere to drink. So, yeah, it was a lot of good times. But then, as I said, everybody in my grade started getting them, which eventually leads to the douchebag faction. And you don't really want these douchebags to know where you're going if you're trying to have a cool guy party. So, I remember being on there, we'd have to think of different, we use like football jersey numbers. And we'd say, hey, go to this guy's number times 2. Or, we wouldn't say that. We'd go to Cordell times 3. Jump over to 30 quick. All right, we're on 30, go fucking 24. And then we'd jump down, so by the time they figured out to go to 30, we'd be at 24, which didn't really matter because all you had to do was just cycle through channel by channel until you found us talking, and eventually the uncool guys could figure out where we were. So you had to be quick, get your information out, shut that shit off. But did have a lot of fun. We drive around town, lip off to each other. Basically, it was kind of like before the internet. People get online and say all this shit, trying to rile each other up and posting all this bullshit. That was CB for the small town. You get on and just fucking spout off and say the most asinine gibberish, trying to get somebody mad at you. And you're using, just like the internet, you're using a handle. You're not, hi, my name's Ron. No, I believe mine was Shaggy. Because I had the scruffy little Shaggy from Scooby-Doo beard going on. So, if Shaggy was online, that was me. And it was a good time. I said we always tried to fuck with people. Remember one night we got a trucker seriously pissed at us. It was me and a couple of buddies. And we're online. There was this lady we had known. We had talked to her online a lot, given her a lot of grief, and she just kind of rolled her eyes at us. But this trucker just hot and heavy after her, saying all this nasty shit. And And we're just kind of jumping in and stepping on him and ripping on him while he's trying to get some trucker action, and really pissing him off. So after I don't know how long of stepping on this guy's efforts, he's getting all pissed off at us, and one of the guys finally says, "Dude, do you even realize this chick you're talking to is disabled? She's in a wheelchair?" Oh, pulls the 180, and he goes from walking hard on to, "Oh, I'm sorry, darling. I want to tell you, but I want to put you in contact with some people that can blah, blah, blah." So my buddy just pulls a classic Jerky Boys. Have you ever listened to the Jerky Boys prank phone calls? One of my favorites, Frank Rizzo, just yelling out the phone number at people. 5785. So that's just, absolutely no frame of reference. He just kept doing that. Just jumping on him, yelling 5785. This guy got so pissed off. "I'm trying to tell this lady something." Like, dude, you're trying to bang her a minute ago, and now you're all the nicest guy in the world. You're mad at us? He actually pulled off his route, and we saw him go through town. He was looking for us. He wanted to beat our asses. So we shut her down because, unlike the internet, that's a little too real. If they're on the CB, they're in your vicinity. So, the internet, I can lip off to some guy in Alaska and tell him to go fuck himself. And, by the time he gets down here and figure out where it's not worth the effort to come and kick my ass. But if you're on the CB telling some guy he's a douchebag, there's a reasonable possibility you could pull up to a stop sign and be staring right across from the guy. And as I say, the big antenna on the top does tip your hand a little bit, so it was a little bit dangerous. A couple times I remember, one time we about got it. We went to another town and we were fucking with people on the CB, and it doesn't take long. Small town, there's a car we don't recognize. They were after us, chasing, pulling after us with cars, and I had just the cockiest friend in the world. And from that day on, I kept a fucking baseball bat in my car. If Mike was with me, there was a distinct possibility somebody was going to be pissed at us. So the baseball bat stayed in that car till the day it died. Good times. I guess to cap off on another Mike note, just to give you an idea. We went to Dubuque. It's about 45 minutes away down in Iowa. Small town kids just going to kill some time. We pull up to a stoplight, and as we're sitting at the stoplight, right before the light changes, Mike looks over at a car, a couple lanes over. There's a lady in the car, and he just sits there doing this till she finally looks. When she looks over, he goes, and we took off. At which point, she starts slapping her husband on the arm, pointing at us, and dude whipped 2 lanes over and chased us around Dubuque, and I just kept thinking, glad I got my fucking baseball bat in here, Mike, you cocksucker. Well, looks like I'm about out of drink, so that should probably cap off this episode of Drinks with Ron, taking you back down memory lane with the CB radio. To be born before cell phones and the internet.